And I also think that those of us who are working in community change and community activists, we need time to take care of ourselves, because burnout is the occupational hazard for community activists. We need time to renew our spirits. And the most important time of the day for my wife and myself is that very first hour in the morning, when we spend in listening and reflection, taking time to look deep inside at what's going on, to share our thoughts with each other. It's an indispensable foundation for our marriage, for our family, our work. It counters fear, peer pressure. It guides our decisions about our relationships and about our outreach to the community. Jean Brown calls this a time of connection, a time of correction, and a time of direction. Well, we came to live in Richmond in 1980. Just 7 years earlier, the city had elected its first African-American majority on the city council. And the very day that we moved into our home, there was a knock on the front door. I went to open the door, and there was an African-American woman standing on the front doorstep, and she said, "My name is Audrey Burton, and I've come to welcome you to the neighborhood." She and her husband, Collie, lived across the street. They became our closest friends and mentors. We're still neighbors 30 years later. Burtons were civil rights leaders. They had led the voter registration drive that led to the election of a black majority on the city council. But they were dissatisfied. And I remember Collie saying, "You know, we worked so hard to change the structures, but we had to keep going back and doing it all over again because we did not change the hearts of people." Collie and Audrey began to experiment with times of daily listening and reflection. Many years later, Audrey told a group of community leaders that I had to reconstruct my model to become free of hostility, anger, hate, and frustration. She said, "The people we meet at the community level are full of these things." It was a spiritual transformation, not an intellectual one. Rather than constant confrontation, I had learned to be quiet, to reconnect. My behavior and my language changed. Deep down inside, God called me by name.